Hi, it's your friend, astrologer Kimberly, and I'm coming to you ahead of the full moon in Cancer. It's a few hours away, and I just wanted to start this recording by holding a bit of space for our friends and our extended community, our network, our global network in California. And it seems even more pertinent to do this on the Cancer full moon. If we know a little bit about Cancer, we know that Cancer is the zodiac sign, which is the crab, but it's also the sign that is ruled by the moon. And the moon is all about our emotional faculties, feeling safe, feeling secure, and typically governs shelter, homes, and places of safe harbor, astrologically speaking. So the moon and Cancer are both synonymous with home, nourishment, mothering, self-care, sleep, rest, and having a roof over our heads, having somewhere to come home to. So it seems really, really, really pertinent to extend our compassion, our care, our empathy to the people of California, to people who are present or connected with those people, to all their pets, to their family, and just wishing them and praying for them safe passage to somewhere that they can come home to this evening or any moment of the day. We're thinking about those people who are expressing their emotions. We're thinking about those people that are faced with having to rebuild their homes and everything that constitutes feeling safe, feeling like the nest has been feathered with all sorts of different things, whether that's toys for the children, whether that's cooking equipment or food in the cupboards. All of these things feel so, so pertinent at this Cancer full moon, given that Cancer is the sign of, as I say, feeding, nourishment, domesticity, mothering, caretaking, etc. I could go on and on and on. But what we need to do is either take action to help others or, pick up the phone and check in with those people that we know or find ways to help and come together as a collective to express our heartfelt concern. So I'm sending my love to people overseas as well, and that seems like a really good way to start this message with the most important thing. So I'd also like to speak about the all about the full moon in Cancer. So I'm going to share my Zoom screen with you, and I am very appropriately wrapped up in my Cancer blanket because I'm not putting the heating on in my office because it's too dry, and I don't want to be dried out by that funny heater that I've got. So wrapped up in my cozy blanket, if that looked weird for a second, and sharing my screen so that we can look at this Cancer full moon. So first of all, let's talk about the time and date that this is perfecting. It will be Monday, the Moon's Day, Monday the 13th of January 2025, at 2:25 p.m. in California, just mentioned, 5:25 p.m. in New York or the East Coast EST, 10:25 p.m. in London, and 7:25 a.m. on the 14th, Tuesday, in Tokyo, Japan, if you are where I am, or even Hong Kong, 6:25 a.m. for those people tuning in from Honkers, Hong Kong. Anyhow, we've got this really, really striking full moon, and it is making a conjunction to Mars retrograde in Cancer at 27 degrees. In turn, Mars is making a trine to Neptune over here at 27 degrees 31. So that's really, really an exact perfect trine between Mars and Neptune. And we've got the North Node, which has just slipped into Pisces there at 29 degrees. We've got Venus at 11 degrees of Pisces, Saturn at 15 degrees of Pisces. So, in essence, we have a lot of things occurring in the water signs, Cancer and Pisces. I'll just say what comes to mind when I think of Pisces. Of course, we have two fish swimming in different directions. It could be seen as a chaotic scene, having these two fish, flip-flopping around, swimming in these different directions. And if you look into the mythology of this sign, it's all about this mother and son who turned themselves into fishes to escape. I can't remember who, but it's quite a chaotic scene. Pisces is a mutable water sign that experiences the sun's transit during March and late February. So we're dealing with the end of winter and the breakthrough of spring, which of course comes with Aries season and the spring equinox. So we're right at the end of the zodiac wheel when we experience Pisces and Pisces season. We're at the end of the zodiac wheel. We're dealing with water and the melting of snow and ice, the melting away, and the picking up of the rivers that rush towards the sea. So when I think of Pisces, I think of a babbling brook, and the ice that's melted, the ice that was so strongly developed during winter and Aquarius season. And so this is about endings, and we've got the most poignant, profound degree highlighted for endings, which is the 29th degree of Pisces, highlighted by the karmic North Node. And the North Node is the ecliptic point of the moon's path through the ecliptic of the ecliptic path of the moon, basically, the points of greatest distance at, the points when the moon goes round in its orbit, it creates an egg shape or an oval shape, and the north node and the south node are the two most furthest points that the moon reaches, and this is what produces an eclipse. So the eclipse point, the point of destiny and karma and eclipses and action taken around eclipses, is now in Pisces. So we've got eclipses now in Pisces and Virgo for the next 18 months. And Neptune is right there with this North Node point, making that trine to retrograde Mars. We've also got Mercury and the Sun in Capricorn. We've got Pluto at 1 degrees of Aquarius. We've got Jupiter at 12 degrees of Gemini. And we've got Uranus, the planet of disruption, rebellion, and unsettling disenfranchisement there at 23 degrees of Taurus. And it just did a little jump there when I was talking about Uranus. So let's go through this one by one. Let's take it easy and take it slow. I have Mercury in Taurus, so I'm going to be talking one by one by one. Let's go for it. So the sun is in Capricorn, it's Capricorn season. I think we all have a good handle by now on what Capricorn season brings out in us. And we also have Mercury adding clarity. So we're doing business. We are starting the year off strong. We're in the room. We are, focused on what's practical and earthy. And lo and behold, aspect number one, we've got the sun in Capricorn making a nice little trine to Uranus retrograde over here. What does it mean? What does Sun trine Uranus mean? It means that we're experiencing something interesting. It means that we're experiencing potential for breakthroughs with the Sun in aspect to Uranus. The Sun is spotlighting Uranus, giving us a chance for insights, breakthroughs, clarity, excitement, spontaneity, and revelations around the things that Capricorn and Taurus have been sparking and igniting in us. So Uranus in Taurus, if you're a long time follower of me, you'll have heard me talk about Uranus in Taurus being, farming innovation, food innovation, fashion innovation, innovation around finance. So we've had Uranus in Taurus since 2018. We've had major disruption to the financial markets. We've had great big disruption to food innovation through plant-based food and new introductions of different ways of eating and consuming, not to mention shopping. Remember, this is pre-pandemic as well. So anything that you've experienced in the last few years that has been to do with that, you can count on Uranus in Taurus being a part and parcel of it. When I say fashion, we're talking about drawing attention to landfill. We're talking about drawing attention to mass consumerism or shopping hauls that we see on Instagram, and consuming differently, buying luxury secondhand goods, just really experiencing beauty and how we dress up in different terms. So this can also be around makeup and the way that we look and tweak ourselves, Uranus in Taurus. And also travel, it can be anything. It can be to do with anything depending on your experience of it. But primary collective themes, food, fashion, finance, and upheaval or disruption around those areas. So the sun is coming into a trine, the moon is experiencing a sextile, and so this full moon directly plugs us into our Uranus experiences. For me, as a Cancer rising, Uranus has moved through my 11th house of collective friends and collective dreams and community and networks. And lo and behold, I've connected with a new friend today. I've connected with a new friend not very long ago, only a few days ago. It has been a real lovely experience to move to Tokyo and be in touch with new friends, thanks to other people in my community. It's been a real treat. So that's been great. And simply because of online opportunities to connect. So very Uranian, connecting with people digitally. Thank you, Lord, for putting people on my path. That's very fun. And not to mention that people in my community have also been very food oriented or consumption oriented. So, very much connecting with people in the wellness scene who are interested in consuming differently, whether that's restaurateurs or people who are interested in changing their diet and how we all eat. So, for me, loving that full moon message. So, I would encourage you at this full moon to reflect. Take this moment to reflect. Think about how is this full moon allowing me to see my Uranus signature with clarity? What breakthroughs have I had and do I continue to have with that? So that's really, really nice. So we've got Sun and Mercury in Capricorn, Sun making this lovely trine to Uranus, and in turn, the sextile to Moon in Cancer. So, as I said, Cancer is all about the themes of home, domesticity, mother. I spoke to my mother last night. It's my mother's birthday tomorrow. And then we have shelter, the idea of a harbour in a port in the storm. Cancer is the cuddly, nourishing bosom of our universe. Cancers often have big boobs. They are the heart, the beating bosom, the beating heart. I want to say heart, but heart's ruled by Leo. So the beating center of the family, let's say. They are the nourishment, the fountain of nourishment to our family. And so again, celebrate, depending on your own horoscope, celebrate the Cancerian themes in your life. Okay. I've talked about Pisces being the two fish and how slippery and chaotic that might seem, but we also know that we've lived in the last 2000 years in the age of Pisces. Christianity and Christian values and principles, although I am not religious and I do not subscribe to any religion, I am quick to see where religious people are right. And when we think of Christianity, we think of forgiveness, compassion, tolerance, love, and extending those values and those spiritual principles within us. So, as we look at how much is going on in Pisces, and we think of the fact that this full moon is roping in these themes, let us also take a moment for principles of charity, principles of tolerance, principles of kindness, compassion, empathy, all the things that are just very typically a spiritual principle. And this is not limited to Christianity. This is any major religion that's had a spot in the world stage for the last 2000 of years, which encourage people to, be kind to each other, essentially, which is pretty much, I'm sure, the whole principle of all religion is to have a sense of brotherhood, have a sense of sisterhood, compassion, and kindness for each other. So, with that, we are looking at Neptune, which is the contemporary ruler of Pisces, really up close to that North Node. So, is it time, guys? Is it time that we really start walking the walk? Is it time that we really start drinking in the spirit of the universe, the fountain, the elixir of, recovery and, surrender and acceptance? I think it might be, given that we have all this activity in Pisces. However, the characteristics of Saturn and Mars are malefic in astrology. So it's not all happy clappy, let's get the tambourines out and sing Kumbaya on the mountainside, along with Jesus and his disciples feeding us bread and a new gluten-free recipe. We're not there completely. There are some pesky energies at play too. So Mars is, as I say, it's a malefic planet. And Mars in Cancer is not massively happy. Mars is really happy in Aries and Capricorn. Why? Because Mars is an action planet. Mars represents cars, knives, any kind of tool or instrument that allows us to take action quickly, swiftly, and with force. Mars is really happy in Aries because Aries is the sign that it rules, and B, it's the warrior action sign. It's the initiating sign of the zodiac. It's a fire sign. Mars is really happy in Capricorn. It's exalted in Capricorn, and there it is with its pickaxe climbing the mountain, making moves, being a real business savvy sign, planet, it taking action in Capricorn. But in Cancer, how does Mars take action in Cancer? How does Mars take action in the sea? We might think of hydropower. We might think of the force of energy that comes when waves are crashing over the rocks. And we know that waves do erode stone. So when we think of Capricorn, we think of rocks and hard places and boundaries and borders. And if we think of Cancer, we're thinking of the waves of the sea where the crab finds its home. And so, could we think that maybe Cancer and Capricorn are equal? Of course, they're equal. Everyone's equal. And we see that hydropower of the waves crashing over the rocks, smoothing off the edges. And so, when we're thinking about Mars in Cancer, we're thinking Mars retrograde in Cancer, no less. We're thinking of a retrospective, reflective time of inaction, a time to put down our sword and just take note of what works. And so we're thinking about home and family and maybe what's going to work for our family dynamics. What is going to be conducive to building a home? What is, I don't want to say sensible, but what would be best case scenario of how to cope with, this acknowledgement of like what's going to work for home and family. So, what's going to work is just absolute tolerance, compassion, charity, and coming together. That's my take on it. That's my Pollyanna take on it. But take it or leave it. If you don't like it, leave it. And if you like some sentiment within that, do take it. Reach deep into the ethers of your psyche, the Pisces areas of your collective consciousness or your personal consciousness, and let's all just expand into that ability to love thy neighbor. We've also got Venus exalted in Pisces. The fact that Venus is exalted in Pisces is about idealism because Venus is so happy in Pisces. She's so, feeling her higher octave, there with Neptune. She's, ready to sing like Celine Dion, I think, has Venus in Pisces. In fact, I know she has Venus in Pisces. This is all about just doing it for art's sake, beauty for beauty's sake. But we have to watch that we're not being too idealistic. And just this is the last aspect I'll touch upon, Venus square Jupiter. I personally have a Venus square Jupiter in my chart. And this is about excess. So, where are we going overboard? We're being utterly compassionate. Are we really being compassionate and tolerant in the right sense? Or are we getting bombarded by something that is perhaps not conducive or helpful? So watch for that kind of theme over the next few days as well as Venus comes into that square with Jupiter? Are we being too optimistic, too hopeful, too Pollyanna about things, as I've just demonstrated? So that's the general chart. Let's go through now sign by sign, as you know I love to do, and touch on what is going on. Actually, let's do the new moon first. Okay, so this full moon relates back to the new moon of the 18th of July 2023. Why? Because we work with the lunar gestational cycle, and that means that this new moon was at 24 degrees. Sun and moon were together, 24 degrees 56, and this full moon is coming to fruition at 23:20:59 minutes. So this is the new moon that corresponds to this full moon. If you don't know how that works, DM me. We'll talk about the lunar gestation cycle. How fascinating that this new moon was also in a sextile to Uranus. What can we do with that information? We look back in our diaries at our new moon wishes. We look back at what was going on at this time and we think to ourselves, what was I hoping to accomplish? What was I hoping to achieve in July of 2023? What was going on for me at that time? I must look back at my own photo album, which is how I always track transits, is just by knowing what was going on with me and see what was going on during July of 2023. We also had a trine to Neptune at this time, so very resonant with the current astrology. Neptune trine the new moon trine Neptune rather. So I hope you find your new moon wish list or what you were manifesting with such watery skies at that time. Now let's go sign by sign through this, through our horoscope. So, sorry, my husband's calling me at the same time. I'm just doing my newsletter, so I can't talk. Love you, bye. Hooray. A patient, loving husband who knows that I'm prioritizing you guys. So, Aries and Aries rising, the full moon is coming to fruition in your fourth house of home life, nurturing, mothering, and home. So, are you reviewing Aries, Aries rising? Are you with your ruler Mars now retrograde in this area of your horoscope? Are you going back over old ground to experience these themes somewhat differently or trying to make improvements? As an Aries, I am absolutely keen to revisit my cooking skills. And I spoke to my mother last night to see when we can connect and thinking about like, how can I improve my relationship with my mother? How can we do things well? So we've got a really strong nurturing moon there. We've got Mars there, which is tense. It's not easy that Mars conjunct the moon. It's very impatient and antagonistic, but we can deal with it. We can deal with it by using the compassion that we spoke about, by using the tolerance that we spoke about. So that's Aries, Aries rising, watery themes, which you don't necessarily do well with, but you do because you've got experience now, Aries, Aries rising. You've got this. You know how to swim in these waters. Not easy, but you can do it. I've got faith in you, Aries, Aries rising. You got this. Magical, mystical times ahead. Taurus and Taurus rising. Remember, you've got Uranus in your sign, Taurus, Taurus rising, and the sun is lighting up your house of travel, experiences, long distance ventures and understanding other perspectives. But the full moon is coming to fruition in your house of siblings and close connections. So is it time to check in with close ties? Do you have a sister, a brother, somebody that it's necessary for you to pick up the phone and call? Are you feeling a little bit discombobulated around sibling relationships? Is there room for improvement in how you deal in arguments or that kind of simple back and forth with siblings? We all get into little spats with our siblings. We all have heightened tensions with our siblings. But Taurus, could you be doing better with your sibling relationships? Now is an absolutely supremely wonderful time to plug in and experience a reflection on how you might move forward doing things a little bit better. Gemini, Gemini rising, the moon is in your house of personal security, material belongings, and earned income. So this is all about what you do that's valuable, what you do that's compensatory. So Gemini, Gemini rising, thinking about money. How do you make money? How do you look after your money? Could you be doing better at putting the plug in the jug, at putting a plug in the bath hole of your banking account, or just simply putting in more provisions in a way, Gemini, Gemini rising around finances? With this Mars retrograde, it's all about reflecting and taking time out to walk it backwards. Okay, so that's Gemini, Gemini rising, money, 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 security, personal belongings. Do you need to do a clear out, Gemini rising? Do you need to let go of some material belongings or stock take? Cancer, Cancer risings, just like me, Cancer, Cancer risings. It's a season of relationships. It's a season of acknowledging key people, significant others. That just comes with the territory of Capricorn season. However, the Cancer full moon is a time for you to think about your body, yourself, how you nourish, nurture, and caretake yourself. Perhaps you're like me and you need to keep yourself warm with a big hug and look after yourself by going to a cafe, as I did this morning, for some nice vegan food with a member of your community. That's what I did. Mars is in your first house, asking you to review your look and how you present yourself. You've been on a really long journey. You've got all these lovely planets in your house of wisdom and experience and travel and international relations and wisdom and knowledge and higher education. You've been on a journey, Cancer, Cancer rising. You have been on a long road and you're still on it. You're still on this wonderful, exciting path, but you need to take that experience that you've been pursuing, that course, that higher education course, and perhaps course correct. You maybe need to think about how it is that you want to succeed in the world, because Mars is your planet of professional encounters and professional direction. So you're being gifted this ability to take stock. I feel like it's something to do with the fact that I've dyed my hair pink because it's quite Mars, um, having this kind of red hair, which was a conscious decision. So that's me. Okay, so that's your Cancer, Cancer risings, relationships, wisdom, growth, and also community. We've got Leo and Leo rising. Halt, halt, Leo, Leo rising. Surrender. And this could be a really intimate, intense time for Cancer, for Leo, Leo rising. You are probably really busy because the Capricorn season is all about your health, how you take care of business, how you keep the cogs going. However, you also need to rest, recover, recoup, rejuvenate, and take a pause, because the moon is encapsulated, is completely in the crypt of your own subconscious right now. So you have a really sensitive side, Leo rising, and it's being activated now. So really good time for you to have a bath, have some water therapy, maybe go swimming or step into a sauna or some kind of warm cocoon in order to allow your feelings to surface. They might not want to, but there's wisdom in those quiet moments for you. I love it for the Leo risings, but you could be incredibly confronted by intimate, intense issues right now. Or not, let me know in the comments. Virgo risings. It's about community for you, Virgo risings. You are maybe really experiencing friendships and a whole exciting journey of personal experience and enjoying stepping out into the world, maybe traveling. And now you can experience your community, your network, your special friends from that perspective. And again, there might be tension because Mars is the ruler of your eighth house. There may be something intimate that you're sharing with your friends. See how that's received, see how that goes down. All the planets in Pisces activate your house of relationships. So dealing one-on-one with people could be key right now too. Virgo rising, Libra risings. You are experiencing publicity right now, acknowledgement of your goals and your direction in life, but it's also a time for you to understand your roots, your family, and your home life. But the Cancer full moon is really about leadership, authority, taking the helm, steering the ship. And all of these planets in Pisces for Libra rising, they activate your sixth house of health, wellness, and well-being. So this is for you about keeping on top of routines, keeping things flowing in terms of your day-to-day life. But you could be recognized right now. You could really stand out as a person of note, as a VIP. You could also be really keen to make others aware of your talents in life and reaching your goals and how you've really come the distance in terms of your career. So, Libra rising, it might be time to show off a little bit about how well you've done, right? Beat your own drum and allow other people to respect and revere you based on your career progress. Scorpio rising. Oh my gosh, there's so much I want to tell the Scorpio risings. And I really want to reach out to all my friends and tell them this. So maybe I'll just direct them to this video. All the planets in Pisces are highlighting your house of children, fertility, sexuality, flirtation, pleasure, indulgences, the arts, crafts, holidays, vacations, celebrations, weddings, and all that is pleasurable, fun, and fabulous. So, with that, you've got this wild opportunity to say yes to personal pleasure. Capricorn season is all about sibling relationships, connections, neighborhoods, and connecting to your kindred spirits. But the Cancer full moon wants you to experience wisdom, higher education, and growth. So it's about your personal pleasure and how you communicate around that personal pleasure. Does personal pleasure stem from some kind of wisdom, knowledge, experience, and education that you've been blessed with? Does your pleasure and sexual encounters depend upon your neighborhood environment, being able to go out and about on dates because you understand where your, local cafe is, where your neighborhood hotspots are? Think right now about local environments and international or global settings. Think about or kind of play with the themes in your mind of like how far you've come, understanding your connection to your local environment, including the people in it, on your team at work, in your sibling dynamics and frameworks, and then what makes you happy. Embrace what makes you happy, embrace your love and the wisdom journey that you've been on. Uranus is in your house of significant relationships, Scorpio, Scorpio rising. So this is a really, 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 really nice time for you to experience significant others, a spouse, a really important person, and how you're transcending known wisdom to just go even more into knowledge and lessons. Specifically, I'm thinking about a Scorpio rising I know who studied counseling, who's given birth to two beautiful children during this last couple of years. So that would be pointing towards focusing on your kids, but also indulging in the fact that you've had a really amazing higher education experience as well, and then allowing the partner to step in and be a part of that too. Lovely. Okay, Sagittarius, Sagittarius risings. Finances and shared resources, shared space is coming up for examination with this full moon. Also, intimate experiences. So, how you collaborate with a partner and your own sense of fun, your own kids, your own children, your own hobbies and crafts and so on, and how intimately you bring those together um, to share with a partner. So I know three Sagittarius characters in my orbit who have recently connected with pregnancy and children and childbirth. And this is all about how do we share the onus of having children when it comes to financial obligations and what I give and what we give. The mother might give breast milk, the father might be bringing in a tangible wage or, caretaking experiences and so on, very intimate taboo subjects. It can also be a mother giving something to her child of a resourceful nature. So Sag risings, hit me up if you want me to elaborate on that. But basically, you could be touching on your personal investments, your commitments, how you put money aside or experience security for the future, either based on having kids or based on your own happiness, your happiness, Sag. And knowing that you have to collaborate, knowing that you have to take a chance, take a risk, and collaborate, unify, share, come together, and work together as well because of this experience of home life that you've been developing. Capricorn, Capricorn rising, this is all about relationships and coming together with other people to experience a sense of home. Thinking about my Capricorn mother, of course, whose birthday is so close to this full moon, and me, who has a Cancer rising at 21 degrees. This moon isn't too far off. So the Capricorn risings, your fourth house is ruled by Mars. Mars is the ruler of your fourth house, and Mars is currently in your opposite sign. So it's dealing with relationships that touch your home and your experience of family. So also experiencing other people, how they care, how they nurture you. Capricorns are, of course, quite self-sufficient, kind of responsible characters, and yet with their relationships governed by the moon, they do need to be in touch with other people. Uranus is making the sun is making a trine to Uranus rather, and Uranus is in your house of pleasure, joy, crafts, hobbies, vacations, and delightful things of that nature, fifth house things. And so you might be focused on where your next fun hit is coming from, where your next vacation's coming from, where your next craft or hobby is coming from, and you could be looking to other people to sign off or co-sign on that particular experience. So that's really cool. And then the Capricorn risings also have this stellium of planets in their third house of close connections, communication, social media, and neighborhoods. So there being a lot of significance around the environment which you operate, the way you live your life communicating with others. So you may be a little bit idealistic about some of the ideas that you have about your place within the neighborhood. But again, lean into this wisdom that you've accumulated, this way of thinking, this way of speaking. Then we've got, and appreciate your relationships, right? Illuminate your relationships. Have gratitude for those people that mean so much to you. Then we have Aquarius risings. You guys are having a time of acceptance and healing. This Capricorn season is all about closing the door on the past, really coming to grips, getting to grips with this process of deep unearthings. Yeah, Capricorn, poor old Aquarius risings. You've been having so many transits through Capricorn, specifically through COVID. It's also to do with how you make a living, how you treat money and your earned income, how you make a living, how you value prized possessions and finances, and having acceptance around cash, about having a sense of peace and serenity around material objects. Capricorn and Pisces. The Capricorn element is all about experiences that have taught you unconsciously to let go, to accept, to come to terms with, to move through, to grieve, to, really deep dive into the most sacred areas of yourself. And then the Pisces planets have been allowing you to experience this magical money mindset, this, illuminating how it is that you are allowing things to move through your hands, easy come, easy go, or taking things a little bit more seriously with Saturn there too. And then the full moon for the Aquarius risings is in your house of health, wellness, well-being. And so there being a necessary exercise in recalibrating environmental factors to adequately touch your day-to-day life, right? So the moon is highlighting positive routines, diet, rhythms of your day-to-day admin, schedule, and systems. But Mars is there saying, "Ooh, let's ruffle, let's like shake this up a little bit. You might be back to the gym after New Year and just kind of like appreciating the feelings in your body, awakening to those feelings in your body." And you've also got Uranus, your modern day ruler, in your fourth house of home and domestic life. So cooking, wellness, environmental, functioning, how you operate day to day in your space, what's good for you, what's good for your property, and this financial component around all of this, taking care of business, taking care of your health so that you can continue to work in earnest, but also having a much more profound experience around this. I can't speak for you. You are the one with the deep wisdom. I can only hazard a guess, but you've experienced a lot, so good for you. Then last and but not least, we've got Pisces and Pisces risings. Pisces risings. There is a great big emphasis on you right now, and there will continue to be a great big emphasis on you, my love, because this is all about your identity, your body, your presence, your character, all to do with you. You just might be getting a lot of attention right now from members of your community that you trust. It's Capricorn season. So look for them. But also, this is about a changed way of thinking, a changed way of interacting locally. And you've got Uranus in your third house of speech, connection, and close connection. So you've changed a lot about who your kindred spirits are. And then this wider community transit of Capricorn season is allowing you to operate in the wider world, knowing who your kindred spirits are and The full moon in Cancer urges you to acknowledge your own happiness. Pisces, Pisces rising, like love, romance, children, pregnancy, fertility, all the joys of life, vacations, what makes you happy? And there may be a financial review going on that impacts that, or a practical aspect to this with Mars, coming into contact with the moon. So the moon is what makes us feel safe and happy. Maybe your children are what makes you feel absolutely nourished and secure and happy. And Mars is there saying, okay, but what about the cost of things? What about finances? How am I going to make a living? And so on. So it's time to review that. It's time to think, how can we make this work better? How can I make this work better? And I would say by bringing it back to you, to your absolute magnanimous beauty, to your community. Like you've done so much work around the people that you know, your network, your social media presence. It could very much be bringing things back to that. My goodness, you've probably heard plenty from me, so I am going to try and hide my wish, shut my mouth. Can I make it bigger? Oh, I don't know if I can even make this Zoom go. Oh, stop share. There we go. If only I knew technology better. Let's hope Uranus in Taurus helps me a little bit more. That's all from me, folks. That's all, folks. That's my full moon in Cancer update. I hope that you have time to reflect. As I say, this is an emotionally supreme moment to acknowledge your feelings. Really, really powerful with that Uranian flash of insight, with that Neptune present, and omnipresent, really soak it up. I'm already having so much gratitude for the people that have crossed my path today and always. And I'm grateful for you too. Please always reach out. I am absolutely available for one-to-one readings. And I'm going to link my January horoscopes, which are present on the Astrograph website because they are considerable in their word count. I was lucky enough to get a couple of really great horoscope writing gigs, which is my bread and butter, which is how I love to spend my time poring over the stars, but then making it readable, legible, instead of waffling as I am now. But yeah, I've got a lovely monthly horoscope up on Astrograph. I've got another lovely monthly horoscope on Charlotte Tilbury. And I've got another lovely horoscope on LUK. So all three of those I will try and link. I think the Charlotte Tilbury one is a bit difficult for me because I'm out of jurisdiction on their website, so I can't read my own horoscopes. However, look those ones up. I'm going to link the Astrograph ones because they are hot and heady. They are mammoth. They really are a large word count, so I encourage you to read them. And with that, I'll love you and leave you. Just wishing you all the best for this Cancer full moon. Sending all my love to each and every one of you. Big hugs.